Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Boone County Cryptids, where we chase the country's most chilling cryptid legends, one eerie encounter story at a time. Hey guys, glad to see you guys again. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Just want to thank everybody for being here today. Guys, I've got a great guest. His name's Nathan. But before I introduce him, I just like to say thank you to our service members and our first responders. We're always praying for you guys. And just give them some prayers, guys, because they need it. They face all sorts of stuff every day, guys. Just want to say thank you, guys. And guys, my guest, his name is Nathan, and it sounds like he's got some really awesome encounters that we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. He's a very avid outdoorsman. He's a hiker, camper, anything outdoors. This is your guy. Anyway, guys, I'm going to bring Nathan into the studio. Hey, Nathan, how are you, buddy?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine as frog here, bud. No complaints on this. So Nathan, why don't you care to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I grew up in the woods and swamps of Florida, bow hunting and fishing. Spent 42 years there in the national forest and the surrounding areas of the woods. And a lot of people don't understand Florida's got the second largest national forest in the whole country.
Really?
Yellowstone's the only one bigger than the Ocala National Forest.
Wow.
Yeah. It runs from central Florida all the way to the end.
Really?
Yeah. So we're talking hundreds of miles, yeah. So anyway, I used to love to bow hunt, and I had some friends of mine that contacted me, and they wanted me to take them out. Because I always told them, if you ever want to go camping or fishing or something, I'll take you, but don't go without me, because the woods can be extremely dangerous, and
right.
I've been doing this a long time, And one was an IT guy. His name was Bill. He was just some smart nerd that built computers. The other guy actually was from France. His name was Pierre. And he always wanted to experience the great outdoors in the United States, because he was like us, he was a fan of the stories and, the outdoors and everything.
Right.
And, in France, they really don't have anything like that, So, and the other guy was my hillbilly best friend, Jerry. And he was just like me and him had millions of adventures together. Anyway, so our friends contact us and we agree to take them out. We all meet out there, and my friend recommended a place because he lived there with his dad, and it was called Ocala Silver Springs RV Park. Sadly, now it's completely overgrown and flooded, and the gators have taken over. But anyway, it used to be a cool campground.
Right.
I had a lot of spooky stuff on it. I'll tell you that. But anyway, so we all said we agreed, and so Jerry took us out there, and we get there, and automatically I'm feeling some kind of vibe. I'm like, oh man, you actually live here? He's like, I grew up here with my dad, but I don't live here anymore. And I'm like, oh man, this is wild, buddy. I said, does it normally feel like this, oppressive? You know what I mean? It just
Right.
felt off. So I was, I didn't want to, say I was spooked, but there was a creepy feeling for sure. So anyway, he's telling stories later in the night. So the first night went fine. But the second night, that's when things really picked up. I was building the fire up. It was getting dark and we were about to cook. And so Jerry's telling the story about how there was a massacre of the pilgrims in the exact spot where we were at.
Right.
And the Indians had murdered them all. That's what he said. And he said later in the morning, he was going to take us to see the burnt down, church and also the graveyard. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, all right. So Pierre was excited, this was his first experience, but nothing bad had happened yet, And Bill's like, "Oh, this is so relaxing and so much better than the office." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is great." So as we were getting ready to cook, we put the meat on, and probably about 5 minutes after the meat was cooking, that's when we started to hear things. At first, we started to hear the famous hoot,
Right.
the high pitch owl. Whoa, we started hearing that. And boy, I tell you what, they got a set of lungs on them because
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do. They do for
oh,
sure.
the sound is it's like it pierces your body.
Yeah.
Seriously, I swear to God, it's incredible. Anyway, Pierre just about lost it. He about just, I mean, I thought he was going to pass out. He started turning pale. He's like, "My God, what is that?" I didn't want to panic him. You know what I mean? So I told him, "Oh, that was an owl, bro. You don't have owls in France?" And he's like, "Oh, those are scary sounding owl birds." I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be all right, Pierre. And Bill looks at me sideways, and he's like, "Nathan, that wasn't no owl. Come on." I said, "No, bro, for real, it was an owl." I didn't want to make the guys panic. So I went in my tent and got my bow, and I got my Bowie knife, and I shouldn't have done that because Pierre picked up on that right away, and he's like, "Are owls dangerous?" I laughed, and I'm like, yeah, they can be, buddy. And so I went and got my flashlight because, the flashlights, they claim work better than a weapon.
Yes.
I've always heard that, so I always carried one of those big beam, those spotlight ones.
Right.
And so anyway, I went and got that too. And I didn't look around yet because, we only heard it twice and it seemed to stop. So we were taking the meat off and we were getting ready to start, eating. And that's when we heard the knocks. And they were loud knocks too. I mean, I don't know if they were using rocks or giant tree limbs or what they were doing, but they were almost like gunshots.
Yep.
I mean, that's how loud they were. Boom, boom. Oh man. That's when it got really terrifying because now my lie for my friends was no longer going to work because now they are really flipped out. And now Pierre's like, "You're lying. There's no owl." What is that? And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but we have these creatures here that live in the woods and swamps, and the locals call them skunkapes, and they're a type of primate or a primitive person. Like
Right.
I have a belief that they're Nephilim.
Could be for sure.
Yeah, I think they're Nephilim because I think they have abilities. I think they can cloak for sure. Because I've had many experiences, brother, where I should have seen them. I mean, they were so close to me. I know I should have seen them. And you can't see them. And anyway, to get back to the story. So we heard another knock from the other direction. And that's when I got nervous. Then we heard a third behind us. Oh, hell no. I was like, this is bad. So now I know there's at least 3 of them.
Yep.
And that's really horrifying. And contrary to what anyone will tell you, it's never just one.
Nope.
If one's watching you or one's around, there are other ones also around and watching you, just for the record.
I agree.
Take it from someone who's, played in the woods a long time. I'm letting you know, man, there's always more than one. Most of the time they're not aggressive. But what triggered them obviously was the smell of the meat and they were hungry. You know what I mean? So an Indian friend of mine once told me, if you ever have an encounter, like this, most of the time it's the campfire or the food that triggers it, or both. But he told me to just take it all and leave it as an offering and, go back to your business and act like nothing happened. And so I took his advice, of course, you know what I mean? Because those Indians know, because they have more knowledge of Bigfoot than anybody. They've experienced them for hundreds of years. Oh man, you hear about the Ojibwe from Michigan. You hear the Indians the Seminoles and the Ocalis or something. That's why Ocala National Forest is named that after the tribe of Indians.
Really?
Yeah, I probably butchered the name, but anyway. So the knocking continued for a little bit longer, and then it stopped. But that's when Pierre said he was having a migraine, and he felt sick. And Bill, my other friend, the IT guy, he puked actually.
Oh,
And he was complaining that he was feeling dizzy. And I was like, wow. And I said, Jerry, how do you feel? And he's like, oh, I feel kind of creeped out, to be honest with you. But he said, I feel all right. And I felt kind of dizzy myself. And I was like, this is really weird. And I never really had that experience before. And my friend looked over and he said, I think I see something over there. And I shined the light over there. And as soon as I shined the light over there, we saw something big and dark move quickly. And I mean, real quickly. I tried to follow it with the beam, but in Florida, we got those palms,
right.
those palm fronds that grow everywhere. And it's so thick, you know what I mean? You can't see anything, you know what I mean? They block out everything. So we could hear it though. And it circled around. And I told everybody, listen, everybody just be quiet, don't panic, and don't look. I said, everybody just look down at the ground. And I said, it's going to check us out. And you cannot move. And I do not want anyone to panic, please. I said, your lives depend on it. You know what I mean? So they're all shaking and scared as shit, obviously. So was I. So they agreed. So when we all put our heads down, that's when we could feel it walking by us. And it picked up the pot and we could hear it eating. And it set the pot back down on the ground. I was shocked at that. I thought it would throw it or drop it but no, it set it right back down, right where it picked it up. And it made this weird gibberish noise, kind of like a toddler trying to talk.
Really?
It sounded really weird. Yeah. And anyway, I think it said thank you, honestly. And it walked away. And we didn't look up at it, like I said. But later, what my friend Pierre told me is he said he was looking out the side of his eye the whole time, and he said he got a pretty good look at it. You know what I mean? I've seen them all many times. Sadly, like I said, 42 years of stories, and most of them are scary.
Yeah.
To be honest. So that night, everything else was good. We didn't have any other experiences later that night. And the important thing is to always remain calm. And I know they're a primate because if you look down at the ground, you know, and you expose, you know what I mean, yourself in a humble position, that's an acknowledgement of, you know what I mean, you're not a threat.
Right.
But if you look them in the eyes, you have seriously got a problem. Yeah, do not look them in the eyes. Seriously.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, do not, boy, because that is considered now a challenge in the primate world, and it's go time. And you definitely do not want to fight one of these monstrous beasts. But the scary part about Florida is there's so much lime rock and clay in the soil that it's almost impossible to find a footprint. The ground is so hard. We looked and we saw a few, you know, small little parts, you know, here and there. But like I said, the ground is just so incredibly hard there in Florida. It's crazy. So in the morning, everybody was tired because none of us slept well.
I can imagine.
But we wanted to fulfill everything. And I asked everybody, are y'all good or is this too much for y'all? And Pierre asked me, he said, well, I feel better. And so did Bill. Bill's like, yeah, well, I feel good now. And he said, you don't think they're going to come back, do you? And I said, well, personally, I don't know. I hope not. But we'll see. And so we go with Jerry. Jerry leads us. We go and see this burnt down church. Oh man, you could still see burnt arrows on the ground. Oh, there was all kinds of artifacts around, but my Indian friend also told me never touch anything because,
Yeah.
yeah, they did a lot of curses and bad things. You know what I mean? Because they truly hated the white man. Because they did them dirty. The poor Indians, boy, they got screwed bad. If you really research that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're seeing this burnt down church, and there was only like a quarter of it still standing. Even part of the roof was still standing with it, but the rest of it was just burnt to the ground. And the cemetery was probably about, well, I don't know, 500 yards probably from the church. So when we get to the clearing, I start to see all the headstones, and every single death date at the end was the same.
Wow.
We checked every single stone. It was crazy. And the death date was the same date and year on every single one of them. So we were like, wow, that's really creepy. So then I thought to myself, that's probably why we're feeling this oppression, probably from all this supernatural, you know what I mean? All these disgruntled spirits or whatever. So we get done with that, and Pierre's taking pictures, and Bill's like, this is really interesting, and so Jerry and Bill are talking, and Jerry's telling them more in-depth stuff about the story. And that's when Pierre panicked and said, what the hell hit me?
Oh man.
And I turned around, and I'm like, Pierre, what's going on? He said, shit, something hit me in the back of the head. And I looked down at the ground, and it was an acorn. And I picked it up, and I'm like, well, that could have fallen from the tree. I didn't think anything to panic at this point right away. So we continue hiking, we're heading back to camp. And we decided we were going to cook fish that night. And we had caught a bunch of catfish, channel heads, and all that in the river, And the swamp was really good for that. A lot of catfish, You never had a problem catching fish out there, that's for sure.
Heck
So
yeah.
we had a good bucket of them, So I decided that we should probably move camp. I said, I don't think we should, stay in that one spot again. So everybody agreed. So we packed up, and Jerry said he'd lead us, further out the other direction, So we went out there, and about a quarter of a mile or so, he's like, this is going to be good here. So we set up and everything. And we had the fish hanging up on a line above the fire, and we were smoking them for a little bit before we were going to cook them. And so the smell was pretty, good in the air, I'm imagining. And next thing I know, I hear that gibberish again. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Everybody looked at me, and then he's like, they're back. And I'm like, oh man, yeah, shit. So I'm like, that sucks. So I said, everybody just chill, man. Just do what we did last time. I said, they'll probably steal all our food, but you know what I mean? We'll catch more later. It's all right. So we just all sat our heads down, but this time it squatted down behind us, and it reached out, and it actually touched my friend Bill, and he passed out. Actually, the fear of it touching him was just so much for his fragile mind. He passed right out. We actually had to catch him because I didn't want him to fall into the fire.
Right.
And it startled the creature. It jumped back, but it seemed like it wanted to make a friendly contact, as strange as that is. And so it squatted back down. Now it was behind Jerry, and it reached out and touched him. And Jerry, still with his head down, he just acknowledges the creature, just the head nod, And the creature gets behind me, and he's squatted down. He's like way, way down, knees totally bent, his butt's almost touching the ground. He's squatted so low. And he touches me on the back of the head and the side of the ear. And, I just make a little grunting noise, I nod my head. He stood up, he grabbed the fish. He said the weird gibberish, thank you again, I guess. And he stepped off into the woods. And that's when I looked quickly, and I could see that it was a female, and I saw that there was a baby with it.
Really?
Yeah. So it was trying to feed its child, and it was hungry, and you know what I mean? So it continued to think we were a food source.
Right.
We weren't threatening. We were giving it food, and we didn't try and do anything to them. So I think she was actually wanting to be friends the second time, for sure. There wasn't a third, and that trip ended. We were good. Nothing else happened the rest of the week of the trip. It was all peaceful. She never did come back. And we were grateful for that, for sure. And
I can imagine, yeah.
yeah, so we left, and that was that, And I said to Pierre, I said, "Do you ever want to go again?" Pierre said no. He said, "No, I'm gonna go back to France and be grateful that, you know what I mean, I can tell a story." But yeah, he said, "No, I'm never." So I said to Bill, "Bill, you want to go back out?" And he's like, "No, man, never." He's like, how are you okay with that?" And I said, "Well, honestly, I'm just used to them. Yeah. I mean, you see them all the time in the national forest, anywhere, and especially in the swamps. They really love water. I even saw one making a trap one time. It took a bunch of vines and sticks, and it was amazing how smart they are. He wove it, and as he was weaving it, he was also making in the eternal opening the sticks that would go like this.
Right.
So the fish could wiggle in to get the bait, but it would close and it would trap the fish. That's how smart he was. I was watching with binoculars. I was out hiking one day, and I was just looking around the area, and I happened to see something moving and a log, and it looked like it was doing something. And at first I thought it was a bear, and then I realized it's not a bear, and it was one of the Bigfoots, So I started to walk so I could get a better angle and see what it was doing. So I had to walk probably, I don't know, 150 yards or so before I could finally see what was doing in the front. And he was sure enough weaving this basket.
Wow.
And I'm watching this thing weave it, and he had like some kind of a piece of wood that he was dipping his finger in, and then he was touching it here and there on the basket. And I guess he made his own glue, I'm assuming, from pine sap or something,
Yeah, that's
so anyway
enough.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude, listen, I watched an Amaze Wyatt for like 30 minutes with my binoculars. I actually had indentions on my face from watching so long. But I watched this thing intelligently make a fish trap. And he carried it. Yeah.
It makes sense that they could do it.
So, I mean, they're not stupid by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no.
The only time I ever really looked one in the eyes was the most scary, but was also the coolest thing ever, because I felt like it was looking into my soul. You know what I mean? My God, it was so intense. And I was in total fear because I thought, oh shit, I accidentally looked it in the eyes and now it's on, No. So in the back of my head, I'm scared to death because I thought, oh shit. But anyway, it just stared at me and it started weaving, wobbling, So my Indian friend, he's told me so many tips, I tell you. And he said, when you see that, that's a sign of curiosity, and they're just checking out the situation and checking you out. And so I mimicked it a little bit myself,
Yeah.
I swayed a little bit, And I didn't take my eyes off him because I didn't know what he was going to do. So, I mean, I felt like I have to watch him now. And he just kept doing that. And then all of a sudden, it was like he wanted to talk to me. And then, that, like I said, that crazy gibberish. It sounds so weird. God, I wish I had a playback I could play it, because it's the weirdest sound. It's like two kids trying to talk. And it's just the craziest sound.
I can imagine.
So I tried to mimic the sound, back, because I didn't feel threatened and I didn't feel sick, like I did with the other time. And, it didn't seem to be threatening. And this one was a male. Sadly, you can always tell.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But I think it was a young one. I don't think it was, a grown one, because he wasn't as big. He was probably only, I don't know, 5.5, 6 feet.
Yeah, that sounds like adolescence, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he was a big one at all. Anyway, he looked over and he saw, I had fish on a line, I was getting ready to, cook later for dinner. And, he points at it and the gibberish, So I peeled off a couple catfish and I unstrung them and threw them over to him, and he picked them up. And I mean, he just bit into them raw. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Oh, dude. He he bit the head right off that rascal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's crunching that thing up, and I'm like, oh, I'm disgusted. I'm like, oh, that was just absolutely horrible. So I'm happy the experience is going well. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because this is my first time with an adolescent, and I've only seen one baby in my whole life. They really hide the babies. You'll never see them. Yeah, I've never seen an infant ever. You know what I mean? This was probably the youngest one I've actually ever seen, but I don't know if I've seen the same ones over and over, because I always hung out in that area.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I was seeing like a family or if I was having new encounters all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's really no way to tell.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I never understood. I never knew. I could have seen 100 Bigfoot in all those years in the woods, or I could have seen the same family. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was trying to make this work because this was actually going well. And so he looks back over and he points at a bag that I had beside me, and there was some apples and oranges I had brought. And so I take out an orange and an apple, and I toss them over, And he picked up the apple. Boy, he was really happy about the apple. And I could see like he almost smiled, like he was so happy about the fruit.
Oh yeah.
So he grunted over and he grunts and he turns around and he picks up everything and he leaves. And I didn't think anything more about it, So about later on in that summer, before I was getting ready to go back to work, I had 1 week left, So I decided, I was going to go back to that same area and see if by chance, you know what I mean, that adolescent would, come back. So I was out there camping, and I had purposely brought a bag of fruit this time, Luckily, there was a store not too far.
Yeah. So
after the fruit thing went over so well, later I went and got a bag, So this time I'm prepared, I got a whole bag of apples, So I'm camping, and I don't hear anything, I don't see anything. And this was the wild thing is I was sitting by the fire and the bag of apples is right there next to me. And I mean, right there next to me. I mean, right there. It's like literally a foot from me sitting on the ground. And I'm sitting there by the fire and I'm just hanging out. And I was smoking a cigarette and I was looking up at the stars. And I felt a hand on my shoulder and I saw another hand grab the bag and then he scooted off.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He scooted off fast too, but he put his hand on my shoulder and it was such a kind gesture. And then he grabbed the apples and then he was gone.
It's like, I'll take those. Thank you.
So anyway, I had to go back to work, you know. That was my last cool experience, you know. So I go back to work, and I'm thinking about the adolescent the whole time. I was like, that was such a cool thing, you know. And so anyway, I end up just, you know, going to work, and we're working and working. And I was a flagger for asphalt and paving. And boy, that was long hours anyway. So I was telling the guys, I was like, you know, and no one, of course, believes you. You know,
Yeah.
everyone thinks you're crazy, and oh no, you know. But now, every now and then, you'll talk to one, and you'll know that they're a believer because they got their own encounter.
Oh yeah.
See, what I tell people, it's all fun and games until you have an encounter.
Exactly.
You think, oh, they don't exist, and then wait till you see one. I tell you what, when you see one, the first one I ever saw was when I was living in Bellevue, Florida. And I was staying on my mom's farm. She had married this pastor, and he had a small farm. So when they first got married, I came, and, you know, I was helping put in new fencing and everything, you know, helping out my new stepdad, you know. And he had fruit trees. He had oranges, and he had tangerines, and he had ruby red grapefruit. And he had a fig tree, and we had chickens, quail. We had those small goats. We only had 2 cattle, and of course my farm dog, you know. And that was about it, you know, on the farm. You know, it wasn't a big farm. We also had a small garden, and wasn't, yeah, like I said, you know, it was 3 acres. You know, I mean, it was nothing monstrous, you know, but it was nice. And adjacent to us, there was a big time cattle farmer.
Gotcha.
And he had a lot of steer and dairy cows. He had bulls from around the world. Yeah, his name was Dan, and boy, Dan was wealthy. Boy, that's good money, the meat business.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, there was that farm, you know, on the other side of us, and to the sides of us there was a creek and a deep riverbed to the left, and then to the right we had some neighbors that lived nearby, and that was it, you know. So we were on private land, you know. And it was 9:30 in the morning. I had taken the dog out to go to the bathroom, and I had to be at work at 10:30. So I take the dog out to go to the bathroom, and I'm getting ready to go, and the dog yelps, turns around, and runs back into the house, tail between his legs. But the door wasn't open, so he slams into the door.
Oh man.
So I looked, and lo and behold, there it was, man. I mean, that sucker must have been 8.5, 9 feet tall, jet black, arms almost down to the ground. It was crazy how long the arms were. Giant hands. I mean, it was just black as black. I mean, the darkest black you can imagine. I mean, pitch black. Boy, that fur was dark. Yeah. He was carrying an armful of walnuts and hickory nuts. And it looks at me, it acknowledges me, and it just keeps going and steps over the fence. And so that was my first sighting. And it only lasted a few minutes. I mean, I saw it. It walked across the property. It got to the fence of the cattle farmer. It stepped over and kept going, and that was it. You know, and the crazy part is I didn't smell it until when it was gone.
Really?
Normally they say you smell it before. No, yeah. I smelled it after. It was weird. Yeah. So that was my very first time seeing one. I was probably, I was probably 20.
Really?
I was probably 20 years old. And I tell you what, when you first see one, your mind goes into like a type of shock.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Because your brain, why it doesn't register what it's seeing. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, your mind's trying to, you know, come up with, you know, what it's seeing. You know,
yeah, it's looking for something. It's looking for something to match it to. It's something that should exist. It's trying to find that in your brain.
Like, oh yeah, man. I mean, I was really stumped. I'm talking about I was in a type of shock. Like I was like, holy shit, did I just see a Bigfoot?
Yep.
I was like, yeah, I'm talking to myself like, did I just see a Bigfoot? Like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So after that, we had a lot of experiences. I'm talking about a lot. It was always the male. I never saw a female or a child. I could hear them. They would respond to him and they
Yeah.
would tree knock back to him, but I never saw them. And all the years my mom was married to him, yeah, I only saw the male, the big alpha. I never saw the female. It was different because in the national forest, you know what I mean? You'd see families in the
Right.
distance, or you know what I mean? It was more common. But for some reason, this experience, you know, in this part of Florida, no, never saw the female or the children. All I ever saw was the male. And I'm talking about they're still married. And I mean, I was there for probably 20 years. You
Right.
know what I mean? And yeah, so absolutely. I mean, it would steal fruit from the tops of the trees. It would never pick anything low. And my stepdad was confused because he's like, the deer and the bear can't be reaching that high. He said,
Exactly.
he's like, why is my fruit missing from that height? Because these were big trees. We're talking about these were 10-foot tall trees. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? These are old established fruit trees. Yeah, these have been here for, yeah. So, I mean, some of them might have been older than that. You know, the ruby
Exactly.
grapefruit tree was really big. That ruby grapefruit tree was probably 12, 13 feet, maybe even more. And even still, the top of the tree, yeah, it was peeled of all the fruit. So, I mean, that made me believe he really was 9 feet for
I,
sure.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Because, yeah, for him to be easily picking the fruit at the top of these fruit trees, yeah, I mean, for sure, he had to have been at least that.
So
And,
did your mom or stepdad ever say anything about if they heard anything on the property or seen anything themselves? Or
oh yeah, my mom said that she'd hear a type of whistling, like a type of singing. She'd be out doing the laundry. My mom had an old school clothesline, you know,
oh
like
yeah,
Little House on the Prairie type shit.
heck yeah,
And yeah, she'd be out there hanging clothes, and I swear to you, she said sometimes she'd hear like something was trying to sing or mimic a bird, you know.
yeah,
Um, she said she's never heard anything threatening, of course. My stepdad, me and him were actually together once with his dog Toby, and he was taking the dog out, and I went out because I wanted to grab a tangerine off the tree, and we heard that male roar. And when I tell you, if man, that roar must have lasted for 5 minutes. I swear
wow,
it probably didn't last that long, but it was so long how long it lasted. It started off real low, and then it got real high pitched, and then it turned into this growl like roar.
yep,
Oh man, and it lasted so long. I mean, oh man. So anyway, my stepdad had never heard anything like this in his life. But that's what I was telling you earlier. There's no way we should not have been able to see him.
right,
I'm talking about that sucker was huge. And for us to not be able to see him at that distance, no, man. The wood line between the two farms, right, was probably only 5 or 6 feet wide.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then it was his pastures and flat land. And yeah, dude, no. The wood line was maybe 6 feet thick, maybe. So how are we not seeing this thing? That's why I'm telling you, I think they can cloak. I think they can. I think they do just like that predator camouflage, man. Another reason I firmly believe they can is because sometimes you feel them and you can almost hear them.
yeah,
I had one experience that was so creepy. I was out alone and I had my dog with me, and me and the dog were just chilling. And me and the dog were just, you know, camping out and hanging out. And I was making some s'mores on the fire, and I was feeding the dog, you know, and just petting him and just having a really good night. And I heard that loud hoot again. That sound, you know, that loud owl hoot, you know.
oh yeah,
And I, God, it got louder and louder and louder. And I knew it was getting closer. And I swear to you, man, it was like it was right there. I swear, you know how you get that feeling? You can just tell something's there.
Oh yeah.
You know, I swear to you, man, I felt that so strong. I could even hear it breathing.
Man.
You know what I mean? I could even hear the breathing, but I could not see anything, man. It was so creepy to hear all that at night and not see anything. Oh, it was so scary. I mean, I'm just sitting there by the fire with the dog, and the dog's whimpering. I mean, he's just whining. His tail is tucked up between his legs. He's trying to nudge into me and hide. I mean, I'm talking about the dog was scared, man, but we couldn't see anything. You know how a dog will normally spot something, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And he'll point and he'll bark, and, some dogs even straighten their tail and they'll acknowledge, hey, something's there. Oh man, my dog was so scared. He wasn't having none of that.
Yeah, I've always heard they don't like dogs, and I think it's because dogs can pick up on their energy or something.
Oh, animals can sense them for sure. How else do you explain the forest going quiet when they're around?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no other explanation. I mean, I'm talking about dead quiet. Even the crickets, bro.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
I've had that happen.
Explain that. Even the crickets shut up, bro. No, that's crazy. So I think they can truly cloak. I really do. Because I've felt them so close to me before in the woods,
Yeah.
and just you can't see them. And you should be able to see them. How can you not see these huge creatures? So I think when you see them, they don't mind if you see them. But if they don't want you to see them, you're not going to see them. That's my opinion. Of all my experience in the woods, yes. If they want you to see them, you will. And if they don't, you won't.
Exactly. I mean, that's like us. We do our research and we can hear something and it sounds like it's moving on two legs. It's not terribly far away. And you should be able to shine your light over there and exactly where you're hearing the sound, and you can't see anything.
Yeah, can't see anything.
But one thing I have heard, I don't know if you've seen the Freeman footage where you see the Bigfoot walk across the camera there, and then it kind of like disappears. Then just a little bit later, it comes on the other side.
Oh, yeah. The portal video.
Yeah.
Was it a portal or?
No, this one didn't have a portal in it, but
this one didn't have a portal.
Yeah, the Bigfoot just kind of steps in front of this tree, and it almost like some people might say cloak, but it kind of disappears for just a second. Then just a little bit later, it walks on past that tree. And a lot of researchers, not a lot of, but there have been like clear hair shafts that they think come from Bigfoot. Almost like it absorbs the light whenever it hits them. But I don't know. I'm no expert, so.
No, that's interesting. I just saw something on an information hub earlier today that something's massacring and mutilating the large alligators in the Florida area.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're stumped. No one can understand the wounds. They said they're not fighting marks between gators. They're not any type of predator. They're, just deep gashes, and not from teeth. They said from claws. And I was really stumped. And then you messaged me about today, and I was like, I'm watching this info on Hub, and I'm like, God, that's crazy, dude. What's massacring the giant gators? They had one. It was One-Eyed Will, and he was 13 feet long, and he was famous. And all these gator hunters and fishermen are saying that every area they're going to, all the giant alpha males of the area have been vanishing.
Oh man!
And not only that, but they're finding these giant mutilated bodies of these big gators. Now, what in God's name is going to do that to one of the giant gators there in Florida?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're talking about 13 feet. The weight on that, I'm guessing, Wyatt, would be well over 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well over 1,000. So we're talking about what is going to take on that thing and kill it. But they're finding them mutilated, buddy. Torn in half. torn off limbs. I'm talking about really brutal killings. Ripped open jaws, jaws torn off. I'm talking about crazy. And it got me thinking, that those gators, a gator, more than likely, this is just my opinion and theory, I think killed and grabbed a young one. And I think these Bigfoot are on a tear and a vengeance, and they see these things as a threat now to them in the water. And I think they've declared war.
It definitely could be.
That's my only theory. I can't give you another theory. There's nothing else that can do that to a big gator.
No, not an alpha male for sure.
I mean, all my years in Florida, I'm telling you, I've seen so many of them. Dude, it's not no Florida panther, and it ain't no bear doing that to these gators. It has got to be. It has to be one of them. And they say they hold a grudge now. They say that if you do something, oh no, yeah, they don't forget, and they will. Yeah, they get like revenge. I was watching one story that was amazing. These miners were deep in this cavern, and they were mining, and they said their lantern was nearby, and it was casting, this dim lighting. And they said that in the pitch blackness, they started seeing glowing eyes. And at first there was 2, and then they said the next thing they know, there was like 5. And they said they got scared as hell, and they ran out of there, and they went back to their cabin. And their cabin was like, oh God, what'd they say? It was like a few miles away, So, I mean, these men are running, panicking for their lives, heading to the cabin. And when they get there, they said they started hearing the knocking, and they said they started hearing loud screaming and roaring. And then they said they started throwing boulders and shit at the cabin. And the cabin was all, yeah. They said the cabin was beating shit, and they were shooting and fighting all night. Yeah, that's a hell of a story. You have heard that one?
You talking about the 8 Canyon incident?
Yeah, with the miners back in the day. Yeah, man, that story was scary as hell. I can only imagine what those men were going through, boy.
You know how that you know what happened though, right? For them to actually start doing that to the cabin.
No, what happened?
Apparently, one of the miners, or a couple of the miners, took shots and actually hit one, and one of them claimed they seen it fall off the cliff.
Oh,
and then
wow!
That night is when they started tearing the cabin apart.
Well, that explains it, boy. Because I tell you what, you God forbid you kill one of them.
Yeah.
They always wonder why they never find bodies, and I don't have a theory for that either. Normally, I come up with something, but they have to be. I don't know, man. Unless maybe they're cremating their bodies, maybe.
Could be, or
but I mean,
burying them way back in caves.
Yeah, they got to be hiding them somewhere because, I mean, unless these things really live a really long time. Now, I don't know their lifespan or anything, but
yeah, I don't either.
I mean, an average primate, I think they said, lives as long as a human. I think.
Yeah,
they live about as long as us. Yeah, they don't have like super long lifespans. But the reason I think they're Nephilim is because 1, they're intelligent. 2, when you read the stories of the fallen angels, you read some dark stuff about them taking animals and humans and making these abomination creatures.
Yep.
So the reason I believe that is because, it's written in God's word, first of all, but secondly, it makes perfect sense because Bigfoot are so human-like, but they have like that ape, they have that ape vibe. So, I mean,
right.
It makes perfect sense to me. And that's my theory about them because everyone thinks they're that Anthropithecus or whatever, the giant prehistoric. Yeah, that's the word. The giant ape thing from prehistoria. That's what a lot of people believe they are.
Some of them do, yeah.
I mean, that's possible, but I go with my theory, man, because you hear too many stories. You hear about people going missing. You hear about people, being killed every now and then. You hear a lot of people going missing, though. A lot.
Yeah.
And that Indian chief that I knew in Michigan, he told me that there are 2 types. He said there's good ones and there's nasty bad ones that'll eat you. Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, that's terrifying. So on top of that, you know, so when you have your encounter, now you have that fear in the back of your head. Is this a good friendly one, or is this one that's going to, you know, kill me and eat me, you know?
Yep.
Because I've heard so many cool stories. I've heard of people being saved by Bigfoot. I've heard of kids being lost in the woods and kept safe and returned to humans. I've heard so many good stories, you know, and every now and then you hear a bad one, but a lot of missing people though. And see, that's what's terrifying is I watched that documentary, 411 Missing Hunters.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was in the military or was current military or was a very, very experienced woodsman and hunter. So all these men were armed and all these men go missing. And 6 of them were Navy SEALs, brother, that were current active duty. What's going to take out 6? What's going to take out 6 Navy SEAls, man? So
Nothing
watching this, really, nothing the world will tell you that. But anyway, no, it's that's terrifying, bro. What could take out 6 armed SEAls? And all 6 of them were just on a camping trip and went missing. And that's crazy. We're talking about, man, every one of them was a World War II survivalist that taught survival and skills in that in the military. He was certified in it, you know what I mean? And this old man went missing, you know? And there's no way that old man got lost. You understand me? So, I mean, these stories are all scary. That documentary is disturbing because what are all these experienced armed men just vanishing? Come on now, without a trace? Yeah. They don't find nothing. It was such a creepy documentary. I recommend everyone watch it. It's only about an hour long, and listen, it is worth the watch, man, for real.
I started watching it. I don't think I finished it yet, but
oh man, yeah. Anyway, one of the hunters was the lady was a bow hunter, and she was in a tree stand, and she was waiting on a deer, and she saw the shimmer just like the predator across the tree line up in this tree, and she watched it, and she filmed the whole thing. And you see the thing shimmering and you see leaves. It was crazy. And the light bending. And this thing jumps down and climbs all the way down these trees. It hits the ground. And she's just utterly terrified. You know what I mean? And she said it walked off in one direction. And she climbed down her tree and she went the other direction. But later, when she was looking at her phone, the creepy thing is that her phone somehow took a picture of her, but her hair, and it was like a microscope, and no one can explain the footage. Yeah, her phone went into like some kind of super high-tech mode and took a picture of like so fine of the hair. It was crazy. It was like zoomed in with a microscope.
Wow.
And everyone's saying that the camera, you know, couldn't have done that. You know, so that was another weird question. But her footage is very compelling. I mean, seeing that thing coming down out of the trees, brother, that's pretty scary.
I think I've seen footage similar to that if I haven't watched the same one.
And remember the movie Predator. It never hunted unless it seemed you were worthy. And if you had a weapon, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And exactly I know that's silly, but listen, 411 missing hunters, man, that were all armed men, that were all experienced, just all can't go missing. I mean, that's insane.
That's true.
Especially the Navy SEALs, brother. That one really got me.
Yeah.
Come on now, a whole SEAL team of friends armed, just go missing. Come on, dude. And you know the military keeps track of their people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So now for these Navy SEALs, and you know how much money they put into them training, you know what I mean? The average Navy SEAL's worth like $1 million to the government. You know what I mean? Those men are priceless. They shoot all the training. So, I mean, you know, the military freaked out when they went missing for sure.
For
And
sure.
they must have looked for them. Now, whether they ever found anything is beyond me, but because they love to keep their secrets. But
Yeah.
I mean, that part of the documentary really threw me. I mean, a whole SEAL team. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, armed. Come on now. What
Exactly.
armed? Yeah, like what went up in there and took on, you know what I mean, a whole SEAL team. Come on now. That's definitely very scary. I
Oh,
mean,
for sure.
yeah, I mean, think about it. What could kill 5 badass special forces soldiers? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Like what could do that?
unless the portal theory's true, and they happen to step through a portal or something, and they just didn't come back.
You hear so many stories about people seeing portals, people seeing staircases in the middle of the wilderness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, People claim they see a lot of weird stuff, man, and it's possible. I saw one video, but like I said, you don't know if it's AI.
Right.
But this one may have been possibly real because it was the lady's backdoor ring cam. And you see Bigfoot walking across her yard in full great motion and everything. And all of a sudden he fades out and just disappears, man. It's the creepiest thing. It's like he turns into black smoke and he's just gone.
Yeah.
Just like that. I mean, you're watching the footage. He's walking across her backyard. He gets by the shed and all of a sudden he's slowly just gone. I mean, it's crazy. So I've seen a few things like that definitely
Right.
make me question, are they really interdimensional? Because that's the other huge theory is
Yeah.
people believe they're interdimensional beings. Yeah. So both are
Excuse me.
feasible. Both are feasible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it could be the old primate, that survived underground and in caves all these years and survived and, still exists. You've got 13,000 people that claim they've seen Loch Ness.
Yeah.
You've got millions of Bigfoot sightings all over the world. I mean, millions. I couldn't even tell you how many there are. I've been seeing a lot of them lately from Russia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen 3 videos lately from somewhere in Russia. And there's sightings everywhere though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all over the world. Yeah. They say a lot of them are in Australia too. I mean, we're talking about they have Bigfoot sightings everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't explain how they're everywhere. Now
I can't either, bud.
that's another one. Because I like to ponder and think about these things, and I'm like, dude, how are they everywhere? Like they can't be in every country. Like how are they everywhere? Like, oh my God, the one in Australia though they say is scary. That's a mean one. That's
Legality.
that one will kill you. Yeah, they say that one's a killer. But every now and then polar bear from Highway of the Hidden, he was telling me that some of them look like baboons, and they're extremely aggressive.
Those are called the
Yeah,
Gugway.
yeah. He said they're extremely vicious and mean. Yeah, and I've never seen one of those, thank God. But obviously, because I'm alive. Because apparently, if you see one of them, you're dead. So
Yeah, most of the time the encounters aren't good.
yeah, so I don't know where they've ever been sighted. I've never even heard about them until he told me about them.
They've been sighted, I think, all the way from like Canada. I know there was one here in Arkansas several years ago. They claimed to have seen a white one, and it had a baboon type face. So.
Oh man. Well, anyway, yeah. According to him, those are the terrifying ones. You definitely don't want to see one of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get involved in one of those.
Now, I did see another video, and like I said, God, AI is the son of a bitch. This could be real or fake. But a dogman and a Bigfoot were fighting on the highway, and these people, dash cam, was recording these two things fighting. And when they fall over the railing and roll down the embankment fighting, the one thing I did notice is the weight of those two creatures actually put a dent in the steel where they went over. So they say AI can't fake the tiny things, the things that you would notice that in a real video. So I pointed that out to my friend. I said, look, man, you even see the dent in the guardrail. Think of the weight of those two creatures. You know what I mean? I said, I don't think that could be faked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how good it is, but like I said, they tell you to look for the small details.
Exactly.
So when you see these videos, they tell you to really check the details. They tell you to slow them down, to watch them again, to look for things that, you know, like, you know, the wind moving grass or trees, or, you know, is there dust from them stepping in the ground, or, you know, they tell you it's the small things.
Oh, yeah.
And they say that's how you notice. But anyway, it was interesting. I mean, and my other cryptid friend, he said that they've had a war going on forever. Apparently, these two, they say apparently these two cryptids hate each other, and they've been doing battle forever. So I even saw a video of a soldier that confessed he saw two fighting in the woods. He was on patrol. Yeah. He said he was on patrol. He said he heard some god awful rustling and screaming and roaring. And he said, oh man, he said he couldn't believe all the racket. So he was on patrol anyway. So he had his weapon, obviously. So he turned on the flashlight on his AR, and he goes down looking, and he said, lo and behold, man, when he finally reached the noise, man, he looked up and he said, holy shit, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And those two things were fighting and killing each other.
Dang.
And he said he watched for about 5 minutes, and he said he got the hell up out of there.
Yeah, I probably would have too.
He said he was so scared, and his mind was so shocked that he didn't even realize he was holding a machine gun.
Yeah.
And he still ran, you know, even with a machine gun, he still ran. So, but yeah, I can't imagine that sight. I mean, he's telling the story, they're blurring out his face, and this soldier's telling, man, shoot, they were just tearing each other up, and that's wild. I would love to have seen that. Can you imagine watching a fight between them two? That'd be incredible.
That would be.
It depends on who gets who first, because remember, the dogman has those huge claws.
Right.
So they can both bite, you know, but Sasquatch have small claws, very small, like raccoon-like type claws.
Yeah.
Their nails are very small and fine. They're nothing like a dogman, some Freddy Krueger shit that's gonna, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fight could go either way. I mean, it could. It'd be something to see.
Now, pound for pound, if the Bigfoot was able to get the first blow, I think a Bigfoot would probably take a dogman. But, you know, if the dogman was able to, you know, start getting good slashes on the Bigfoot, it could be the dogman take over.
Yeah, it could be game over, man. Yeah, I mean, that thing could disembowel you, tear your throat out. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But you're right. If Bigfoot landed that powerful blow, bomb, I can't imagine anything surviving a punch from one of them. So
yeah, it would definitely be hard.
Oh, yeah. Well, they say that my ranger friend, this is another thing he told me. He said in all his years of being a ranger, he said he's found a lot of bears with broken necks.
Really?
In all his years, yeah. In all his years, he said, and what's going to break the neck of a bear?
Exactly.
You know? And I'm like, well, nothing I know of, you know what I mean? But yeah, he said he's found multiple bears with broken necks over his years of being a ranger, and, you know, checking out all the trails. And yeah, over the years, he's found several, he said. I mean, what's going to break the neck of a bear? I mean, think about that. Their neck is so thick and muscular.
Not any other animal that's on the normal spectrum, anyway.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, maybe a silverback could do it, you know, maybe. A gorilla, but that's about the only animal I can come up with, you know what I mean? But yeah, what's going to break the neck of a bear? And we ain't got silverbacks running around the United States.
I was going to say, I can't see a bunch of silverbacks just running around the forest breaking the necks of bears.
That'd be a hell of a sight, though.
It would.
Oh, man. Well, like I said, yeah, it's all kinds of stories, man, so we can do as many parts as you want. I've got so many, it's crazy, yeah, so anytime you want to have me on, just let me know.
I was going to say, I'd love to have you back on for a part 2 if you don't care.
Oh, yeah, I've seen so many things, it's crazy. Crazy how many, but I got to eat, man. I'm starving. So,
All right.
We're going to have to wrap this.
You care if I asked you a quick question about your
No,
first
go
encounter?
ahead.
Or about
Go ahead.
when you went camping? Do you think they might have got hit with, you think you guys might have got hit with infrasound whenever Pierre
Yes.
was?
I forgot to mention that to you. Yeah. I didn't want to tell the guys why they were sick, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Because I was told that it can cause dizziness, headaches, confusion. It can make your stomach sick. I've heard all kinds of symptoms, and they were claiming, yeah, Pierre and Bill both claimed, yeah, they had migraines. But like I said, Bill threw up. Yeah, they were sick. I mean, I even felt dizzy and lightheaded.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, and that's amazing that they can do that because they're either doing that with telekinesis. You know what I mean? They have to telepathically. I mean, it's either that or it's in their sound when they make their sounds. That's the only two things I can think of.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what I was thinking. I thought they might have got hit with infrasound when you were talking about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's clearly a real thing.
Oh yeah.
I've heard several people comment on it.
Oh yeah, tigers and even elephants can emit infrasound. That's how they take down their prey. Tigers, anyway.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah,
It
I
is.
did hear that. I did hear that. And the elephant, that one threw me.
Yeah.
The tiger made sense, but the elephant, I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. Why has the elephant got that?
Exactly.
Yeah, the tiger, that makes perfect sense. He's the perfect apex predator. So.
Oh yeah. Well, Nathan, it was good having you on today. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh yeah, man, I had a blast. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll definitely get you back for a part 2.
Yeah, sure. Just let me know.
Oh yeah. If you don't mind waiting in the lobby for just a minute, I'm gonna say my goodbyes and end the show.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, buddy.
Your problem. You're welcome.
Well, guys, that's another episode of Boone County Cryptids in the book, and I just want to thank you guys for being here and thank you guys for watching. And guys, if you've had an encounter of any kind, it doesn't matter big or small, Class A sighting, or you just heard tree knocks in the woods or a weird growl, all the encounters are important. Every encounter is a piece of the puzzle, and it takes all the pieces to put a puzzle together. And guys, just thank you to our military, armed service, and our first responders. Thank you again to them. Just keep your prayers out for them. And guys, I just want to thank you for being here again, and I hope you have a happy new year. All right. Bye, guys.